What's up, guys? Today I'm going to teach you how to string a stick. We got all my materials here. I got my bottom string, which is, probably like 7 to 8 inches long. I got my two sidewall strings, which are an arm length, so fingertips to armpit. I got my mesh. I got my pliers for my top string. I got my lighter to light the ends. I got my scissors just in case I need them. I got my top string. Today I'm going to show you how to do a triangle top string. So you actually need a piece of rope that's 2 arm lengths long. So you measure it to your arm length, and then it should be the same exact size on the other end. And then I have my shooters. Alright guys, now we're going to get started. I got my proton power head, I got my mesh, and I got my top string. I like to use Gymalax mesh because it works the best for me. I like using regular hard mesh. One thing that I do to get it ready is I actually rub it together. The hard mesh comes real hard, so I like to loosen it so it's a little bit more pliable, easier to string. So I just rub it together, loosen it up nice and loose so it's ready to be strung. Another thing that I like to do is the top of the mesh usually comes 10 holes across, so it's like that. There's 10 holes if you count it all the way across. I like to cut it right across the middle of those 10 holes, so there's only 9 holes across, which makes the top string a little bit easier to string up. What we're going to do is you want the rough side facing you. You're going to fold it over so the 9 holes are meeting up with the other 9 holes. Make sure you press these corners in nice and hard so it stays folded over. Once you do that and you stretch it out a little bit, it should look kind of like that, with the 9 holes meeting up. After you do that, you want to take your top string. I like to do a double knot on the top string, kind of like a double loop. So I take it, I loop it, put it through once, put it through twice, and then I just pull tight. And it kind of forms a bigger knot so it won't slip through the holes. A lot of these new sticks have pretty big holes in the side, so that will stop it from slipping through. Once you do that, you line it up, you put it through the top hole in the stick, and you bring it through the top hole in the mesh that's folded over. Once you do that, you pull it tight, then you take that string and you put it through that top hole again, the same hole as you went through the first time, and you're going to pull it through the mesh again as well through the same first hole, and you're just going to pull tight. And once you pull tight, it should kind of like grip the side of the stick. So we're gripped like that. Once you have that, you pull it tight, then you're coming through the next hole, right through it, coming through the next top hole in the top of the stick. Once you get that, you got this big loop, you're putting your hand through the loop and pulling that string nice and tight. You might have to pull the mesh over so it lines up with the hole a little bit, and then pull that as tight as you possibly can. So then it should look like that. You got your first hole locked in. Next we're going to skip this hole, go into the next hole, and do the same thing all the way through the stick. Alright guys, this is what it should look like when you're done. I skipped a hole here, went into the next one, skipped a hole, went in through the next hole, skipped a hole, went in through the next one. Do it the same way all the way through. Now we have to lock the end like we did this end to pull that mesh super tight across the top. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in through this hole, you're going to go in through that top hole in the side of the stick. You're going to pull it through nice and tight. So now we got to lock it in, so we're going to go back through this hole one more time, back through the eye hole in the side of the stick. Make sure you don't get these tangled up, and you're just going to pull. I like to pull the mesh up so it doesn't slide down, and you just pull it super tight, and it should look like that once you got the first step of the top wall done. Alright, we can stop here, or what I like to do is I like to put triangles in it. It makes it look a little bit fancier. It holds it a little bit tighter. The key to stringing a good stick is having this top wall real tight. That way there's no play in it whatsoever. So what I do for the triangles now is you take your string, this is why we did double arm length, we go over the top of that string that goes through that first hole, and you pull it through. Once you pull it through there, you got the string on the back side now. Now we're going through this top hole in the stick that we already went through once today. Then we're pulling it through. We do that all the way down through the stick. So every hole that doesn't have a piece of string in it right now that we skipped, we're going through. So we go through here. Sometimes it's a little tricky, guys, so just, keep on working at it. Then you come through the eye hole. Alright, once we do that all the way through the stick, we get to the end. So we put it through that last hole, and now we have to go through this top eye hole one more time. So pull this string back. You can kind of fit it through. It's real tough, guys, so don't get frustrated if you can't get it. But then you pull it through. So now you should look like that. Now what we have to do is we have to go back the other way to form the other side of the triangle. We pull through, and then we go through the eye hole in the top of the stick. Now to end it, we push it through that last hole, and we're going to pull it through this eye hole. One other quick thing that I like to do, some people don't like to do it, but I take a pair of pliers, a pair of needle nose pliers, and I go through the whole thing, and I start at the top here. I pull it tight, hold it with my finger, pull the next one tight, and just pull the whole string through. So eventually I'm pulling here, and the whole thing's a lot tighter. I pulled it all tight. You can see how it cleaned it up a lot better, and now you got the triangles.